right
but
beside
Kevin said
bar and
whenever he would
basement.
call Jenny, and
It's, I've been working at it for 5 months.
Laura was like, push
Everything's
Jenny
Marston.
out of the way and say, I don't wanna talk to
Where-
Daddy.
No, right here. On Clarkson Road where it curves like this, and Eston Road goes this way, you come up the curve and the Reston goes this way. You know, you come around this curve and you pop into Eston, it's that first little road that goes.
Oh, okay.
It's on the lake, it's on the lake.
And she wore it.
Part of the body is covered up.
Well, for her age, Laura's
7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. It's all right. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Police report.
Copy of the police report is in your packet.
Fire report.
So January is pretty busy, 42 runs total, 4 in the township, or, sorry, 4 in the village. 2 fires, which were down wires right here at Center and High Street. Same wire, same both times. It's just a communication line. And then a couple medicals, 1 on School Street and 1 on Blood Road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County Commissioner.
Good evening. Been missing for a couple of months, meetings keep popping up, I apologize. So our board had our committee of the whole meeting on February 8th. It's our first meeting of the month. We'll have our full board meeting on Thursday of this week. But we held a public hearing regarding a MISHDA Community Development Block Grant for local housing. It's for funding housing repairs for people that are low income, can't afford things, need a roof or a furnace or water heater. The program is designed to keep people hopefully in their homes. That program will be administered through the Human Development Commission out of Lapeer. Also authorized our health department to accept a grant to provide oral health assessments for children entering kindergarten. This is due to a new state requirement for all new kindergarten children. Also did the Sheriff's Department contracts for services for villages and townships that contract with the Sheriff's Department. There was a 4% increase in costs due to pay raises at the county, along with increase in insurance costs. Also approved corrections officer training for officers working at the jail. 10 new AEDs for various county buildings to replace older units. Accepted a Veteran Service Fund grant for fiscal year 2024. And authorized probate court to purchase training for new state required youth assessment tool. That's going to be required of youths in the juvenile justice system. That's a new program from the state. Approved friend of the court and prosecutor for a new contract for their fiscal year reimbursement program. And gave authorization to Central Dispatch to renew contracts for their 911 recording software, their dispatch consoles, and CallWorks software, along with their radio repair equipment. In the past, the old administration let 911 just go ahead and renew these contracts, and with the new administration coming in and reviewing policies and procedures, they discovered that that shouldn't have been happening, so they've changed that policy, and that will now be coming to the board for approval in the future. That's all I got.
Council got any questions for him? Thank you. Planning Commission.
Nothing on the agenda again? We need something happening around here. Make us feel like we're doing something.
Yeah. DDA, gotta discuss the park project down there, something about a possible, trying to get a pavilion or gazebo put up down there, and getting ready to start,
Nick said he'll have prices next
yeah,
month.
supposed to have some prices. And big discussions over their budget, trying to get that set up. And it's looking like, we'll have a copy of it, but it's looking like it's gonna turn out to be a pretty good budget, really.
I had asked for like at least half of our water meter cost. So we're hoping, we'll find out next month if we'll get that.
And I requested to put on as a line item for the capital improvement plan for money back.
That way, if we wanna do projects off from that,
That way, it's in writing that we, we get to spend so much money of that.
On our budget, it literally says capital improvement now.
So,
that's a good thing.
Okay.
But they'll have that, they're gonna approve it at their meeting this, in March, and then we'll have it for our March meeting.
I was pretty happy with the way it's looking, so. Attorney report, or is
All my
everything?
items are on the agenda.
Council communications.
We have about 70 more houses that still need to get their water meters, replaced, but everything's been going good. I mean, they're in and out, it's a quick process, so hopefully we can wrap that up. They were wanting to be done by the end of the month, so hopefully, fingers crossed.
I saw your post. on
Yes,
Facebook.
just trying to remind people.
I know.
Come on, we-
It only took like
just a friendly little nudge.
15 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and I mean, we've been notifying them since before the end of, I mean, it was the end of December when the first notices went out, so, and they've been going around door knocking and things like that, so. If they catch people home, they're usually pretty nice and say, yeah, come on in, you're already here, do it, so.
Good.
Yep, so everything's going good on that.
need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm Steve.
Abstain, I'm sorry. Public time.
So I'll start with a question. When there are concerts in the park, how many fire extinguishers are in Hermer Park and where are they located?
Who are you asking?
Anyone up here?
Okay, no, we don't have fire extinguishers in our public park.
So I'll remind you again that for almost 10 years I did events across the country where the fire marshal would come before we were able to run our event and make sure that we had everything anywhere. So I know that whenever you have any kind of structure, whether it be a tent or a bandstand or a gazebo or whatever, wherever people may be, you're supposed to have fire extinguishers in a normal place, all right? And you may not be aware of it, but ORVs cause wildfires. They are part of the third largest cause of wildfires in the US and Canada. I found this really interesting article. It's from 20 years ago in Alberta, but it brings up some really good points. And spark arrestor mufflers are required by our local ordinance and then the county ordinance, but I think we all know a lot of people here have taken those off. We can hear by the noise, and we have some folks who live in the village here who specialize in taking those off. And so that's not even there, but just the heat. I'm just going to remind you that last June, it was absolutely incredibly dry. It's the driest June I've ever lived through, May as well. A friend told me about in Florida, which is, I gotta say, like, I've spent months of my life in Florida for work, different seasons, all across the state. Like, I'm never there a day when it didn't rain anywhere, but they have major issues in Florida with ATVs sparking fires. One burned, I think, 25 acres, burned down a house, that type of thing. So it's important to be aware of. And absolutely, you have a public event, you need fire extinguishers all over it. You should definitely look into that. So I will also, I'll just address this really quick. So last month I asked about the rape that was the first degree CSC, which was reported in September. And I brought that up at the township meeting last week because I got to tell you, like, an officer not showing up to talk about that when it is kind of a major thing here That's very disappointing. And we haven't had an officer here in a long, long time, and again, they're making a choice to not have an officer here, because they can adjust their shifts and that type of thing. And as many of you may know, Sergeant Davis is gonna become police chief at the end of March. But anyway, so I was curious as to how many officers we have in the Metamora Township Police who have any kind of training with sexual assault or domestic violence. Because I always thought if there's a first degree CSC reported, that's going to go straight up to county or state, because that's where they have people who are trained. And I verified with the county sheriff that they have people who are trained to deal with that. We don't have people here who are trained. We have one officer, which is Woolard, who works at Grambling Township, where they make them. That's like, he hardly works here. He works a couple shifts a month, from what I can tell. I had to wait almost 3 weeks to talk to him this summer, because he didn't work any shifts in that time. But anyway, he's the only one with any kind of training in the past 25 years on those two subjects, the two most common crimes towards women. So I think, just as a resident here, I think that's an important thing to know. That I am certainly, if anything ever happens to me or anyone I know, I'm going to encourage them to call one of the other agencies to deal with it, not anyone here. Because about 6 out of 10 rapes are never reported. And this one, she said, I know several people who have been raped. They were all he said, she said, or he said. And I've seen over the decades the effects that it's had on those people's lives. Anyway, it's important to learn about. But that's what I passed out at that meeting. And I will be continuing to encourage our local police to get more training. Because again, they deal with domestics all the time. I see them in the call logs. They should all have more training on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Unfinished business.
Just leave that on as unfinished, please.
Okay, water main extension.
I have sent a letter to the attorney for the WAH, the firm that plans on installing the water extension, just indicating that there were two major objections we had to their proposed agreement. One was, they said basically if something happened with the water system and if it was out for 24 hours, they could literally come in unannounced and essentially breach our system and do the repairs themselves, and we pretty much said that was unacceptable. The second thing was, we reaffirmed our number on the upfront connection fee. They wanted to drop it to $50,000, we said $500,000, and we said we've evaluated their design plans and believe that that is an appropriate number. So I'll wait to hear from them.
New business.
Well, it doesn't look like Mr. Curley is here again. He asked to be on the agenda last month, after last month's meeting. He called and said he couldn't make it. Asked to be on this month's, so, sorry.
Okay, updated attorney retainer.
Well, we got a request to update our attorney retainer agreement. It's the first time we've had to update it since we have retained Mr. Denney's office. So, it looks like the retainer is payable in 2 equal installments, 50% each, and the retainer will be $6,500. I would suggest we approve it.
Make a motion to approve the retainer agreement with,
I'll second. I'm sorry.
that's okay, I was just gonna list their names.
As presented,
Yes.
All right, then,
and Morris. Okay.
moved and seconded to approve the updated attorney retainer. Well, roll call.
Okay. Roll call, Clark,
Yeah.
Morris,
Yay.
Walker,
Yay.
Griswold,
Yes.
Suzy Clark,
Yes.
Spearing,
Yes.
Kinkade.
Resolution to amend the 23-24 budget.
Well, looking over our budget that does end the end of next month, there's a few little things, but there's two major things that we need to address, and that's supplies for water fund and supplies for sewer fund, and that is due to the water meters, the water meter change out program, so I just had to account for that. And then all the other ones are just little amounts here and there, like In the local fund, one that's a little more significant is salt supplies. I don't know why I had such
Price
a
go
low amount.
up. Price went up.
Price did go up a little bit, but I don't know why I had such a low amount in it. I honestly don't know. Other than that, it's all within like $100 that it looks like we're going to be, adjusting, sorry. Professional services up in general fund, you'll notice it's like $3,000 for a row. That's for them doing the water reliability study. Have to account for that. Yeah, everything looks decent, and next month I will have the new budget for approval.
What's the council's pleasure?
I'll make a motion, we approve it as presented.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded to amend the 23-24 budget. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. One more public time.
So, for some reason, people are still parking on the sidewalk at the general. I have no idea why, but it is very common. I'll show you some pictures in just a minute. I don't know why, after years of telling you about this and pointing out why it's a bad idea, I must have given her two. Did I give you two?
I have two. Yep.
Well, I think one is signed, one is not. The other signed one?
No, you must.
So, I just want you to think about why people are making this choice to block the sidewalk, right? Sometimes it's an SUV, sometimes it's a truck. But very often, it's a UTV. And I can tell you three of the times that are in there, there were so many parking spots all around. There was absolutely no reason for anyone to even think about parking on the sidewalk. Here's one, blocking the sidewalk with a plow. There was this one the other night, completely blocking the sidewalk. It had been hard to walk around it. Why do we keep letting this go on? It's a very simple thing to fix. You write some tickets, you put up some signs, you stop allowing it, word will spread, and people will stop using the sidewalk as a parking lot.
Well, there are no signs that say no parking.
But it's also not marked as a parking spot, but you
Well,
guys can decide.
It used to be the
Okay.
place to park.
Well, then I think it's
For
your
those of
job.
us that have lived here more than a minute.
Well, I've been here for more than 6 years, so that's not a minute. But just FYI, it is your job then to put up some signs.
It's not, it's their job.
No, the sidewalk is owned by, okay. Or if you think it is their job, then you go and you talk to them and you say, we need to put up some signs. Because again, from a handicap point of view, just from just a human being who uses sidewalks point of view, I find that tremendously offensive that we are still at this point allowing that. John Clark, why is there still no sign at the park? Has that been put into your budget?
The park has not been deeded a park. I mean, it's not been rezoned a park. We don't have a name for the park. That's why there's no sign.
You had an ordinance for the park. It is a park, and it is a park by the deeds. I have it. It's
It's not
set aside for
designed a
recreation, but the ordinance said it is a park, and it is a park and a recreation
But
plan.
we don't have a name for it. We have not
Okay.
done that far yet.
Not been named, so that's part of the,
Once
Well-
it's named, we can get a sign.
Well, then why don't you name it? But also, you could just put park up there for now. It doesn't have to be official or anything. It doesn't even have to be an expensive sign. Again, you could just get a vinyl park that says, Village of Metamora Park. Because there was a post in Metamora, Michigan, gang that you got again. I've seen this like dozens of times. Anywhere to take my kids sledding nearby. Metamora Lions Club has a great hill. The Metamora Lions Club does not have a great hill. That is in our park. So it's still people who live here and who know the area who are not aware that that is a park. It has been 10 years and 7 months since that became a park, and people worked on that for more than a decade trying to get a 40-acre park here. It's in the township minutes. They worked and worked and worked, and now we have that park. And so is it going to be like 10 more years, 2 more years, how many more? I just think,
We're working
again,
on it.
okay,
It
well,
costs
work
money.
faster. Work faster. A sign does not cost that much. How much does it cost to get a vinyl
Well, we
sign?
don't wanna put a sign up until we have something to put a sign up to.
So we're gonna put up
We're
a sign
trying
that
to
says
build a
park,
pavilion.
and there's
Anything like
absolutely
that.
nothing there.
Sharon's got the floor.
You could do a whole lot better is what I'm saying. And again, this is owned by the people. It's a $350,000 at the purchase time. I'm sure now it's worth a whole lot more. It's an asset of the people. And so I think to sit on it and not spread the word is wrong. So why do we still have a porta-john in the middle of the village? We have like this super expensive, nice restaurant. We have this historic district. We have these businesses that people have invested lots and lots of money in. And we have a porta-john right in the middle of our village. That's another thing that's been on the agenda for years and years and years.
Right, and I tried to get the DD to help pay for it, and they refused.
Okay, so maybe we try other tactics. Maybe we try other things. Because you guys last year were proposing pit toilets.
Yep.
Nobody wants pit toilets. It's
They
disgusting.
can look really nice, and they can be really clean. I've been in many of them. At
Okay,
parks.
have you ever helped someone in a wheelchair use a pit toilet?
No, because I don't need to. I've never had to, but I've had strollers. I've had little kids in there. I would definitely use some of the ones I've seen.
This is a village. You think that's going to smell great? It's fine in a park, like Metro Parks have them in a certain couple areas, and they're far away from stuff. This is the middle of a village. We can do better than that. And I think the fact that it's been years that you guys have been working on it means that you need to rethink your process. And Mr. Denney, my last comment today, last month I asked about the water and is there another plan for the water? Because again, less than half a mile away we have a time bomb. And you called it Detroit Water. It's not Detroit Water, it's a Great Lakes Water Authority that services the communities around here from Oxford to Lapeer to the other ones. So I think it would be great if we had even sort of a backup plan. Because they've been expanding the wells. 2021, I listened in on the meeting where they expanded the wells to monitor. That means things are not looking great. And who knows when those barrels are going to break open, who knows even how those toxic chemicals are going to interact. I think it'd be great to know how much and how long it would take to get connected to the Great Lakes Water Authority. Thank you.
Public time, I'll entertain one more motion.
I'll make it. I'll make the motion to adjourn.
We move and second it to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.